Me and Uncle Zerk are challenging ourselves to platinum all of the Borderlands games, the franchise we all know and love mainly because of the villain himself, Handsome Jack, before Borderlands 4 comes out. And if we fail, we have to get a Borderlands tattoo on our body. Unless I somehow hit 5k subs before Borderlands 4 comes out. Then, I'll just get it instantly. Today, we're going to be playing Borderlands 1. As soon as we hop into the game, after Claptrap showing us around and picking our character, we go looking for some ops and Super Mario their asses for our first trophy out of 51. Continuing the main story, the levels in co-op are not scaled properly at all. And I mean it was terrible, like an 18-year-old dating a 30-year-old type bad. Because of this, we had to do pretty much all the side quests in the game just to be level with the enemies. And for doing so, we got a trophy for doing 5 missions. One thing to note about this game is that instead of one main exploration achievement, there was multiple spread throughout the whole game at almost every location. And while finding our way around at the beginning of the game, we traveled to Skag Gully for our first exploration pop. Once in Skag Gully and finding Nine Toes, we plucked each and every one of his toenails and killed him, giving me just enough XP to get to level 5. The game basically glazed me with trophies at the beginning, like Goth Girl's Discharge. What? What the fuck? Since Mycah is absolute ass at this game and was practically riding on my dick the whole time, I had to give him a little boost, bringing him back up. Early on in the game, I got super lucky and found myself with a fire weapon. So now, I could light some wax for you kinky fucks, and with the fire weapon came my first elemental kill gun trophy. Since me and Mycah are doing the whole story in co-op, we naturally got the trophy for doing 15 missions together. This was like me and bro's first time having a 2-man, but instead of a woman, it's a game we share the holes of. While still in the beginning area of the game, we had to kill this level 12 mini-boss, Bonehead, and we could not damage him for shit with our guns. So me and Mycah pull up on his ass, bringing out our inner TikTok influencer boxing and beat his ass, while I absolutely grope my controller. And when I tell you the scaling is bad, 3 level difference between enemies as us is huge.
Come on. Yes! Okay.
And after finally beating the shit out of him and turning in the quest, I reached level 10. Now, more on enemies. The flying birds in this game are an absolute pain in my penis hole, some even being named Kamikaze Rack. But to make my already easy life more leisurely, I hopped into a car and killed 10 Rack in under 10 seconds. While our only consistently damaging weapon we had this whole playthrough was our fists, it was a matter of time I made you squirt for the 15th time while we're having our freak off. After wandering around like lost little puppies, traveling place to place, trying to find Sledge, our tracker eventually led us to here, Sledge's safe house. And even though it's his safe house, he wasn't here. Like, the fuck? Anyways, following the main story, we meet the boss, Roid Rage. Basically a future version of me and bro on gear. And remember how we said we were underleveled? We were like pea shooters against the All-Stars in Plants vs. Zombies, except they were way faster and absolutely ramming the butt plug in my ass into my stomach. After a long while of no trophies, I cleaned out my backpack full of fleshlights and accidentally claimed my first elemental artifact for my ability. So now when I was fisting people, it burned. The game has a trophy for each elemental type for weapons. So while using the shock pistol, I got my 25th kill using shock weapons, leaving 2 more elemental trophies left. Now, for some reason, instead of Sledge being at a safe house, he was in some random ass mine in who knows where I land. After riding up this hidden elevator and going into this little room, we switch the lever and start the boss fight. During the whole fight, I was kinda confused because he didn't actually really attack us. Mycah somehow though, managed to stun lock him with his fists and eventually pounded him so hard, he turned into me after a creeper blows up. Dead. And since me and my boyfriend are playing together, we got a trophy for killing him in co-op. At level 18 in the story, I still didn't have a class mod, and they usually drop 1 to 2 hours in on every other game, but Mycah so graciously dropped me one, giving me a freebie. For the 3rd out of the 4 elemental gun trophies, I got my 25th kill using an explosive weapon. Explosions! Later on, we hopped our way over to a little boss arena to fight Rip-Off Godzilla, and once we turned in that little side quest, I got myself to level 20. Since the start of the game, I was picking up as many guns as I could carry at once, just to sell them for the money, and since there was a trophy for selling 50 guns, I was bound to get it at some point. Borderlands 1 was seriously just full of glitches. Like when I got downed, I couldn't stop spinning. And before you say anything, yes, my hands were off the controller, idiot. Once we killed a bunch of Mad Mel patrol cars outside, we eventually got to the boss herself, who was annoying, literally insta-killing us. So instead, we cheesed her and stayed outside the boss arena shooting at her, eventually killing her after a healthy amount of time. The story in this game was extremely hard to follow. At one point, it was asking us to get bottles of booze for Crazy Earl, which during the whole playthrough kept me completely lost. Anyways, after that little rant, we discovered the scrapyard. Since we're under level as shit again, just after catching up, we had to do a bunch of new irrelevant side quests, and once we turned them all in, we got paid in New Haven. Mycah, later on in the game, found our first corrosive gun we have seen all playthrough, and he gave it to me after he got the achievement for me to get my last elemental gun trophy, Face Melter. Tanis then asked us, or well told us to go get another vault key piece, and that led us here to Crom's Canyon. This place reminds me of the ass your mom's daughter has. While working on our way to Crom, we had to kiss and fuck all of his gang goonies, and while doing so, I got my first weapon type to level 10 proficiency. The enemies in this game are fucking dumb as shit. Like, how the fuck do you have aimbot and so many damn bullets in your mag that two-shot me? We died at least 50 times here alone, but eventually got to Crom, and since the only thing that we had that did any sort of damage to anyone was our action skill, I beat this guy's meat up. And when I talk about the enemies being stupidly overpowered, this dude was like me on Mortal Kombat, spamming the same move over and over again. He was bouncing on me like how I bounced on your toy plush of Golden Freddy as a child. Since it had been about 2 hours since our last trophy, me and Mycah decided to duel for the 2 trophies that needed us to. One for winning, and the other one without taking any damage. Since Mycah left to go take his dog out or something, or beating his meat, I decided to go ahead and use a sniper to get my last few kills for the trophy 12 Days of Pandora. Just to be efficient. This game got so boring around this time, I started rambling on about J-Shock, some dude I found on Instagram making lunch break videos and who plays Siege. Regardless, Borderlands 1 has probably the most exploration achievements known to man. We traveled to Trash Coast, which kind of reminds me of how you looked back in grade 8. To be honest, of all the bosses in the game, this was probably the second most interesting looking boss, right before the final one. The whole game is super grayed out and had a very stale color palette, and he was the first boss who had any sort of color in him. His eyes were kinda cool to look at during the cutscene, and after a shorter than expected boss fight, we destroyed him. Once clearing out this encounter of enemies in Old Haven, we found one of the million claptraps in this game, and while turning in the quest, I got to level 30. Now, at this point, we had 2 bosses left before we beat the main game on our first run. And for the first one, we went up this little elevator to the spot where we fight Flint. And after dealing with all of his horny teenagers going through puberty, we eventually got to Flint, who was nothing special, and just killed him. He served no purpose anyway. All he did was hide the next vault piece we needed. Next, we traveled to 2 new places. Like the new places when you get gender reassignment surgery. First one being your boobs, and the second being your ween. Yes, I am talking about the lady boys you fantasize over. After passing through a fuck ton of limp McDonald's fries and eating them, we traveled to the final boss arena to fight the creature inside the vault, the Destroyer. We had to beat his meat so hard and rough till we finished him for the final trophy of our first playthrough. This game basically requires you to do the game twice, since there is a trophy for getting you to level 50, and the enemies on your first playthrough kinda max their level out at 32 to 36. So in turn, we're now in our cleanup phase of the game, which wasn't so bad except for the last trophy. So unlike the rest of the Borderlands games, this game had individual areas for side quests that gave trophies. So once we turned in our final quest in each area, we got one for Firestone and for New Haven. But after doing those side character activities, Mycah was out doing his own thing, probably fantasizing over me. In any case, I was being a productive little boy and got a bunch of roadkills since he already had the achievement. Me and bro were trying to be as efficient as we possibly could, driving around everywhere and the other one reading each other the map. And after completing a few boring quests and turning them in total I earned 1 million. Now, for probably the most tedious, unnecessary achievement in the whole game was for having all the claptraps get us to max inventory space, instead of just letting us buy some for Crazy Earl, like in every other goated Borderlands game, except the pre-sequel. Now, for probably the easiest missable trophy of them all, is to do this little invisible track in under 30 seconds. There's no side quest or main quest saying that is even here, so Mycah searched up a little video and I let him do all the work like the good boy he is. Now this was a random ass trophy for no reason at all. They decided to hide a random boat on a random map and give you a trophy if you stand on it. Like bro, I'm not here to be looking for a boat. This isn't One Piece or the Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Continuing on, at the time this game released, it was in the era of FPS games popping off, and since they wanted to fit in so badly with their Call of Duty mommies, they added a 1v1 game mode against others, so in turn, to be as quick as possible, we let each other win. For the last few trophies that me and Mycah get together are all the character specific ones, as we went into each other's games to level Roland, Mordecai, and Lilith up as fast as we can and got their action skill killing trophies. First off, we got my boy Duckquarius,
The bird speaker.
and the malnourished weak Link. After getting all our character specific trophies, we hop out and into the lobby, searching for an online game, and joined these two randoms for the trophy, playing with at least 2 others. Which I'm kind of still surprised people still play this game, and with public lobbies. Lastly, before the long grind to level 50, before we headed to bed this stream, me and Mycah were determined to reach level 40, as he had work the next day. Now, while Mycah was at work, I took it upon myself to get to level 50, so that when he was ready, it would be faster for him, with me helping. And after a long 5 hours of grinding, I finally got it. This grind made the already little love I had for the game completely diminish, and there right after, we got the second platinum trophy in the challenge. Check out Mycah's YouTube channel for the Tiny Tina one. Borderlands 1 honestly fell short of the expectations that Borderlands 2 and 3 gave it. Since it was our first time playing it, neither of us really enjoyed it as much as the others, but it was still better than the pre-sequel. That game was absolutely dreadful, and I am not excited to play that one. See you in the next one. Bye!